Hey folks, Sean McInnes here talking to Jason Leigh, executive producer of Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, a game that was just announced to us this morning pretty much. Jason, it's a funny story how you guys came upon this game. You were saying that originally you guys wanted to do a director's cut, but it didn't really turn out that way. You guys had other things in mind, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, originally we did want to do a director's cut for Dead Rising 2. Capcom has a long history of director's cuts, and they've been extremely successful, and we wanted to give that same treatment to Dead Rising. However, the fan reaction when we first announced Dead Rising 2 about Frank not being in the game was huge, so we actually took it as an opportunity to reimagine the Fortune City Outbreak. What would happen if we brought Frank West back into the game and had him experience the Outbreak with the gameplay and the character that he brings to the story?
So the obvious question when people first hear about this is this sort of an alternate reality, an alternate universe version of the events of Dead Rising 2? Is it pretty much, instead of Chuck, now you're Frank and that's it? Or what else are you guys doing there?
So from a story standpoint, it is safe to say that it's an alternate reality. This definitely is not, though, just a hero swap. This isn't a reskin. We've made sure that if we're going to bring Frank West back into the game, everything that makes Frank West who he is, both from a character standpoint and from a gameplay standpoint, all of that is represented in the game. And the biggest, most obvious thing for sure is the camera.
Exactly. So, and the camera's obviously one of the new features in the game. Tell us about the balance here between, adding new features into the game to breathe some new life into Dead Rising 2, but also keeping the features in there that made the original game so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the pillars, of course, of the franchise are things like the density, the zombies, exploration, sandboxing on a clock. All of those things are still in there. And then the change that we have by bringing Frank West back in is his character is a photojournalist, and he sort of lives and dies by his camera. That's how he earns his living. So when he's experiencing the outbreak in Fortune City, he can still use combo weapons in the same way that Chuck Green did, but he's actually looking for more opportunities to expose this outbreak and the conspiracy behind it.
And you mentioned that another one of the changes that you guys made is to the save system. What have you done there, and what was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, well, the reasoning behind it, of course, is just to listen to the fans. The fans and the press had a lot of great feedback after Dead Rising 2, and it gave us an opportunity to go in and address some of those issues. So we knew that the save system, even though we had made improvements by adding the new save slots for Dead Rising 2, people still weren't satisfied that we had taken that quite far enough. So what we've done is added a checkpoint system. And what this does is whenever you hit a critical story moment, or whenever you load into a new area, or whenever you're about to fight a boss, we save a checkpoint so that in the event of player death, it's a lot easier to jump straight back in and then solve that next part of the game.
All right, Jason, and just to clarify things, this is going to be a boxed retail product, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, this isn't DLC. This is going to be an actual boxed product. It will be appropriately priced. And it's very important to note that this is a giant game. This game is actually larger than Dead Rising 2 because of all of the additions that we put into it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this stuff. I know you mentioned that you guys are going to be showing a lot more at E3, so guys, make sure to come back for that. And one last question for you, Jason. When is the final game going to be out in stores, and which platforms is it going to be out for?
So Dead Rising 2 Off the Record will be out in fall of this year, and it's coming out on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC.
Thanks a lot, Jason. You guys have it. Dead Rising 2 Off the Record.